So then you're going to undo that screw, that screw, that screw, this screw, that screw, and that screw. And then this here and this here will lean forward and it should just pop off. So now that those three are out, you should be able to close the door. You see how that's collapsed on there? That should pop off. That should pop off. You got a connector in the back right here. Don't pull this off until you've undone that. You see, it doesn't have a clasp, so it should just wiggle and pull out. So then the whole door, you pull up a little bit and it comes off. Okay. And we're going to swap the door to where it opens up the other direction as well. So just to show you everything before I start taking anything else apart. And always make sure your filter's good and clean. I get back in there, clean all that up while I got it apart though. So now we're gonna disconnect that screw, and this screw. And then we're going to disconnect this, which will allow this to come off. So those 3 screws are out. Pinch this little clip, disconnect that. Remember, this part goes on the outside when you put it back together. This out. You just gotta kind of wiggle it back and forth. Make sure that the bottom is on the outside of this whenever you start pulling down. So this is the part where I'll clean all this up before I put it back together. When you have this all apart, you see all of this stuff. Like, spend the time to clean all this out. You already have it apart, you might as well. So the same goes for all the stuff you find in here. Cleo's helping. Come on, leave it alone. To where you don't get them confused, I always make piles. So that was step 1, that was step 2. This is step 3. So that way when I'm putting it all back together, I can just go in the opposite order. Okay, so the next step is these 4 screws. I'm going to undo these. So whenever you open it up, just to check, because I'm not going to replace the belt, because see how tight that is? Unless something happened when I'm taking it apart, and I end up reusing that belt because the tension's really good. I think that means my tension spring's good too. I'm probably only going to need to replace the 4 wheels. So I took the 4 screws out. So now we should just be able to, because you can see it's sitting in there on the little lip. So should just be able to pick it up. front part comes off, okay? So 2 of your wheels are going to be here, and we got the full set. So we're going to replace all 4. So that one doesn't sound like it's making noise. That one does. Like I said, I think we're just going to replace all 4 because we already got it apart. The other 2, and this is your drum here. So the other 2 are going to be towards the back. But we got to release the tension spring first before we can take it off, because the tension spring's holding this belt on. So set this aside. So if you look back there, that white wheel looking thing, that is the tension spool. And I'm gonna have, I can't record this at the same time because I need both my hands. Essentially my right hand's going to end up going in this way, and my left hand's going to come in this way. So you just kind of got to finagle. You pull it inward, and then that releases the tension, and then you can slip the belt off of the white pulley. So now the whole drum can move. See that? So now that you've loosened the belt, you can see you should just be able to pull the drum forward a little bit. Grab this. And bring it out. Okay. So you can see your other 2 rollers right there. That one doesn't sound too bad, but once again, because we got this apart, we're just going to replace them all. I'm pretty sure that's the one. You hear that? That's the one that was making all the noise. But we're going to replace all of them because we already got it apart. While we're in here, might as well. So while I got this open, once again, we're going to try to clean as much of this as we can. It's not too bad in here, but you can see this is your tension right there, and the springs down there. So we're going to replace the 2 rollers in the back first. So I've got 11/16 for the back. I got my crescent wrench set at about 8 millimeters for the front. So once you get it started, you should be able to take the rest out by just twisting it by hand, as long as you have the wrench on the back. So keep track of these washers, because the washer and the nut on the back behind there, that doesn't come in the kit. The only thing that comes in the kit is the roller part. So let me grab the new roller. So the one with the washer is the old one. This is the new one. You can see it doesn't come with a new washer. So take the washer off of that one, put it on this one. You know which side it is because this side has the flat. That's the side that's going to be sticking out towards you. Okay, that's the one you put the crescent wrench on. But make sure, once again, I'm holding that wrench is still on the back, okay? That's holding the nut and the washer in the back. You want to make sure this washer goes from the old one to the new one. Otherwise, you're going to mess up a whole bunch more stuff, okay? So I'm going to set that one down. This is the old one. We're going to move that out to the side so we don't accidentally reuse it. Here's the new. So I'm going to finger tighten it first. I'm going to finish tightening it with the crescent wrench. You're not going to over tighten it, you just want it snug. And then just make sure that it turns. And we'll work on the other one. So once we got the wrench on the back, we're going to go ahead and use the crescent wrench on the front. So as soon as you make about a half a turn with a crescent wrench, it should be loose enough to do the rest by hand. So let me grab the new one before I take this off. So take that one off. Oh, hear that noise? That was the washer falling. Grab the washer. So finger tight that. Then use your crescent wrench. Make sure it's snug. So if you want, if it's still making a little bit of noise, you can add a little bit of WD, not a lot, just a little bit of WD-40 right about here. And right here, just a little bit, okay? Because then, after you've done that, so before I put the drum back in, because you really can't see it then, I just want to show you. So this is the tension rod, okay? So you can see the spring, all that's working. So imagine that the drums here, the belt goes around the white, so around the white that way, goes around the black, and you can tell because there's tread on the inside of the belt. And then it goes back up this way and around the drum, and then it goes around. So that's how we're going to put it back in. So there's no real easy way to show you how to do that, this part, but essentially you put the belt with the threads towards the motor first, and then you pull the white part back towards your left until you're able to slip the black belt with the flat side up against the white part, and then you let go. So This part right here should be treads. You should be able to feel the treads. If that's flat, you did it wrong. Okay? Then you should be able to rotate. You should be able to pull. See how I'm pulling down? Maybe you pull down. The drum should roll, and the motor should turn. Okay. So now we're going to put the new rollers on the front. Also make sure that the belt is following the path that it was following before. So, otherwise you'll get a bunch of squealing noise. It might wind itself back up eventually, but it's going to make a lot of noise. So now we're going to replace the front wheels. Once again, see, that one's pretty silent, but this one probably a little bit noise. How it doesn't just keep going on, it stops right away. So once again, we're going to replace both these because we already got the part. So we're going to put our wrench on the back. And we're going to use our crescent wrench on the front part. So once you've turned it about 1/8 of a turn with the crescent wrench, you should be able to undo the rest by hand. So just to show you what's on the back side, because I left it in place. So that's what's on the back side, where the wheel goes, okay? So make sure you put the washer. Remember, the side that's got the two flat ends is what sticks out towards you. Okay, so then that slides on the front. You put that on the back. Hand tighten it, and then tighten it with that. And if you want, you can spritz a little bit of WD-40 right along there, like you did the other ones, if you want to. Okay, so I got both the new wheels on. See how that still is quieter, but it stops right away. We're just going to spritz a little bit of WD-40. Okay, let it sit for a moment. Okay. So now we're gonna put this back. Make sure the two rollers are underneath the drum. When you're picking it up, you want to make sure those go in the little slots there. Same for this side. Okay. So then that should be holding that should be holding that. That should be like that, and that should be like that. And you should you want to make sure that your belt is not twisted anywhere. Okay. So now we're going to put these four back in. Okay, so those are back in. So before we put this dust cover back on, once again, said I was going to clean this out, so we're going to put this back on, making sure that the black part is on the outside of the trim. So this part needs to be on the outside of this, but it also needs to be on the back side of this. So essentially it needs to be on the outside, that way whenever the hot air coming from the dryer blows in, it's going in between these two black pieces. So it should look like that. Okay, and we're going to put the 3 screws in. So now we have the three screws in. There we go. So make sure the 3 spots are lined up on the bottom. Take this. Should only go on one way. A little notch. The notch goes towards the drum. That side on. That side on. Do the 3 screws there. And you got your screw there, your screw there, and your screw there. So you got those 3 screws. These 3 screws are on. Also, make sure you put that back in. Make sure your wires are in the wire management clips so you don't pinch them. Down, push, push. Make sure you plug it back in. Power button. Give it a try. Way quieter.